Hey, what's up? It's Symphony here. Subscribe to my brother Mr. Creepy as Hell channel, and when you're watching his videos,
make sure you stay in one piece.
When you put your house up on the market for investors or realtors, just make sure you do a good background check before you let them come into a place that you lived in and is still living in until you move out. My name is Joseph, and I have a house that I had on the market for investors. This house was given to me by my parents before they passed away. The house I live in is a one-story house. It has 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. Everything about the house is very old-fashioned and out of style. The sinks, the bathroom, the bathtub, everything is basically out of style, which was understandable considering that the house was built back in 1952, so the house is pretty old. And I did my very best to try to keep up with repairs and everything, but it was beginning to be too much. And I wanted a house that was more up to date, where I didn't have to spend so much money on repairs. So I put my house up for sale so that an investor can buy it and flip it, I guess, and they were going to give me money for it. Now, I wasn't expecting a whole lot. Obviously, the house is pretty much run down, and the sinks get clogged up too much, and the commode gets clogged up. It really wasn't a great house. I'm even surprised there are people out there that still want to buy houses like this, but I guess they see the value in it, and they can probably flip it and sell it for more. So, I recently got a person who was interested in checking out the house. We arranged for a meeting so he could check out the house through text, and it was confirmed. Tomorrow at around 10 a.m., he was going to come and check out the house. Now, I didn't know how the guy looked, and he only gave me his first name, but I figured that he was legit. So the next day came, and 10 o'clock arrived. I noticed that he didn't show up. He wasn't anywhere. But I thought maybe I was just being impatient and maybe I was just a little anxious. So I waited. 10 o'clock turned into 11 o'clock. And soon after, it was pretty much close to 2 o'clock. So I called the guy up. But when I called his phone, it was disconnected. I thought it was weird. And so I left it alone and I decided to look for a different investor. The next investor was more promising. He gave me his first and last name, he gave me his business number and his personal number, so I felt more comfortable with this guy than the first one. We set up a date, and he was going to come the next day at around 12 p.m. So I figured that was set, and I was more comfortable and more relaxed. I didn't have to worry about the next guy. I figured that it was his loss. Later that evening, as I was making dinner, I heard a knock at my door. I went over there, and I saw a man through the peephole standing there. He was an older guy, looked to be about in his 50s. He had on a Hawaiian shirt, and he had on some blue jeans. He had on boots as well. The man knocked on the door again, but I didn't respond. I stayed quiet. That's when I saw the man turning towards somewhere and gesturing someone to come towards my house. The next thing I saw made me really nervous and made me sweat bullets. There were 4 other guys who came into view, and they all stood at the front porch of my door. They had weapons on them, knives, bats, and one had a gun. I didn't hear what they were saying, but I knew they were getting ready to break into my house. I acted quickly. I called 911 as I was going into my room. I locked my room door. I told the operator what was going on, and they told me that help would arrive in about 7 minutes. I got off the phone, and I just hoped and prayed that he wouldn't come in my room. I kept on hearing the men talk, but they were speaking a different language that I didn't understand. They were just walking around, and that's when horror set in. I heard my doorknob being jiggled, and I knew they were trying to break into my room. I didn't say nothing at first, and then I went into my closet and I grabbed my gun because I figured there was no way I was going to be taken down easily like this. I held my gun towards the door because I knew they were going to get in. And just like I said, they were able to ram open the door and 4 men came in. They were a little shocked at first to see that there was someone still in the house, and then they walked it towards me. But I stand firm. I grabbed my gun and I pointed it at them and I told them, hey, if y'all come any closer, I will shoot all of you, and I'll be in the right for doing this. Get out of my house right now. The cops are on their way. The men did not say anything. They looked at each other for a second and then turned towards me, and they walked it slowly towards me. I got my gun ready and I tried to pull the trigger, but I realized I didn't have any bullets inside of my gun. They were coming at me with the weapons, and I knew this was gonna be it. I made one dumb mistake, and because of that, I knew my life was gonna be over. One of the men grabbed me by the neck and began to choke me. I can feel the life coming out of me. I can feel myself going in and out of consciousness. I was telling myself that I wasn't gonna die like this, that this wasn't it. It wasn't my time. But as the man kept on holding on to my neck tighter and tighter, I knew that I was gonna die. But then I heard the door bust open and several officers came into my room and they yelled at the men. Immediately, the guy let me go and I can feel the life coming back into me. I can breathe again. The officers tackled all the men down to the ground and immediately put them in custody. I explained to the officers about what happened and they took my statement. And I told them that I suspect that the reason how they know where I live is because one of them was pretending to be an investor, and I did give out my address on the phone. Clearly, this guy or whoever it was not an investor. They were obviously pretending to be one just so they can rob people's houses. But the guy didn't expect me to be there. That's why he tried to kill me. The men were taken away in police cars. I finally could breathe easy now. After that, I was able to sell my house, and I got a brand new house, a better one. I'm so glad the officers came in just the nick of time, because had they arrived 2 minutes later, they would have found a dead body. I'm just thankful that I'm still alive. I'm even more glad that these guys won't get out of jail anytime soon.